Hi, I'm Ryan with SteelMaster Buildings, and today we're going to react to a few of our customers' videos. In this video, we're going to watch Simple Living Alaska's raising the Quonset hut arches for our off-grid workshop. Let's watch.
Today's the day. We've been waiting for this moment for a long time. We're actually gonna bust out the Quonset hut. We're gonna see if we can put this thing together. And I think we have a plan for how we can get it up. It's just Errol and I, it's two people. We've got the tractor, we've got this, we've got scaffolding, we've got some other things. I'm gonna get a few of our things ready and we're gonna start bringing the arches over here. Let's see if we can do this.
We do recommend you have more than 2 people on site to construct the building. However, if that's all the people you're able to gather, you need to make sure you have proper equipment to help do some of the heavy lifting. When the customer was bringing over the panels, I don't know if you noticed how compactly the panels stack together. We like to compare it to like a can of Pringles potato chips. The Pringles all stack up neatly and the panels look very similar. So if you're in a remote region and shipping can be very expensive for you, our buildings excel in one, handling harsh conditions, but also they ship very compactly. So shipping costs are relatively low compared to other materials.
Times 6.
750, what is this? Nuts. So that's 1,500 nuts. Oh my gosh, look at that.
Yeah, but there's 6 of them.
There's a lot of nuts and bolts. It looks like here the customer is laying out the panels to construct either one full arch or put a few pieces together for a partial arch. Based upon the building's width and height, you may get to a certain point in building size to where it's going to be easier to construct in either partial arch form or panel by panel. That's going to depend on the amount of people, equipment, but typically what I like to think of is once the building gets to be 30 foot wide and 16 foot tall, that's kind of at a point where you may want to consider doing partial arch construction.
Do you want me to maybe hold it up for you on the other side? They fit together nicely.
So right now we see the customer lining up the bolt holes on the panels, putting in the bolts and nuts finger tight, and kind of just giving themselves some prep for lifting that first arch. Pro tip, if you find yourself struggling to get the holes aligned, that's commonly more when you're getting the arches stood up, maybe if you're doing panel to panel, or maybe for the arch to arch construction. We recommend you to use a drift pin. The drift pin will help you align the holes and get the panels or arches into better position. So when you're constructing your building, I would definitely make sure to have a set 2 per person drift pins, and that way they can use one on the right and left hand when trying to align the bolt holes. So make sure you have those.
Well, here's our tactic. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put together almost half of it on one side and then the other half on the other side, and you have multiple different pieces. So these are called the roof panels. We're gonna have 2 of these on each side. This is called the E panel. This is called the wall panel. We have one more panel that's sitting over there, and that's the one at the absolute top, and that's called the peak panel. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a little cradle system I devised on the tractor. That top piece, we're not gonna use that one. I gotta grab one that'll fit.
So just as I was mentioning, when the buildings get 30 foot wide, 16 foot tall or bigger, you want to consider doing a partial arch construction or panel to panel, and I believe that's what this customer is attempting right here. They are going to lift up, it looks like at first, they're going to lift up partial arches and put those together, and then we'll kind of see how the process goes for them, and they may transition to something that's a little bit more easier to handle, which also could increase the speed of construction. Let's take a look.
Grab one that'll fit around these, and we're gonna lift this side up with the tractor, kind of leave it suspended, and then we're gonna lift the other side, hopefully with the scissor lift, leave it suspended, and then I'm gonna go up there with the peak panel that connects the two, and we'll see if we can get that bolted in. I don't know if this is gonna work, but we're gonna try it. It's just so wobbly.
One thing I wanted to mention, it looks like they have got their first arch up and they may be transitioning to a panel-to-panel construction. I noticed that ideally you want to have shoes to cover your toes, and you also want to have gloves on, work gloves. And that way that if the arch panel slips, falls, anything like that, you know, we don't have any injury. So make sure you have gloves, and I would recommend shoes to cover your toes. Here we go. Looks like they're lifting up the peak panel, putting that on top. And I've moved to a panel-to-panel construction. Now, it looks like they're transitioning to constructing the wall panels first, and then going panel to panel to construct the rest of the building. There's multiple ways where you construct these buildings. The big thing is once you have your panels and arches in place, you do want to make sure you're providing some interior supports. While the bolts are finger tight, that ensures that the arch is resting at the proper height. And then once you go back to tying down all the hardware, you can then remove your internal supports. The manual does reference how frequent you should put these supports in, and then it also gives you a good display of showing a T-brace in 3 different areas. One towards the eave or towards the left center, one center, and then one towards the right center or towards the eave on the right side. A lot of nuts and bolts. That's also partly what makes the building so strong. So right now in the video, the customers are putting the panels up. I can see a drift pin being used right here. So that's great, helping to align the holes, and then they're just putting the bolt in, and somebody's on the other side putting the nut on.
Lining up great.
It's looking good. You know, when customers call in for troubleshooting or send us pictures during construction to ask questions, one of the things we look at to see how uniform the building looks. And when I look over this structure, they're doing a great job. All the bolt holes are nice and lined up. The panels are uniform. So for 2 people out there constructing this, a husband and wife team, they're doing a great job. Great job.
Another day on the Quonset hut. Yesterday, we kind of got into more of a routine. We were averaging an arch every 2 hours, and we got 5 done. I'm pretty sure with everything else we were doing out here, from building more of these little T-brackets and everything, we worked like a 14 or 15 hour day. This morning we got a little bit of a different tactic over here on this side. We decided to just put all of these, I can't remember what these are called right now, but we put all these ones up now. We put 4 of them up, and I think that's gonna make things easier. The Genie was already over here, so I figured instead of like going back and forth on the Genie a bunch of times, let's just keep it here, put all these up, we'll put it on the other side, put all those up, and then we'll work on the roof. Let's see how it pans out. I'm pretty sure putting these 4 up, that only took us about an hour. So I think we're doing pretty good today.
I know they look like they wouldn't be an eave. I call them corner pieces.
Yeah. Eave panel, wall
Sidewall.
panel, roof panels, peak panels.
Okay, now in this view, we can see the T-braces that the customer has installed. Again, they've got one that is left of center, and then they've got one that's right of center. And what that does, like we mentioned, it's bracing the building, keeping it at the proper height. And then once all the hardware is tightened down, then we take down the T-braces. He looks proud. Look at that smile.
It's end of day 5 of working on the Quonset hut, and Eric and I have persevered. We made it through. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We are a little bit past, actually we're closer to the 2/3 mark of the Quonset hut, but we did surpass the halfway mark earlier today, which is a huge milestone for us. 3 days ago, things were hectic. We had all the equipment in here. We were hopping around from each thing, and I feel like once we got that out and we had 4 arches done, the whole thing just became way easier. Today and yesterday have actually been fairly pleasant. Before then, it was not fun or pleasant, so that's just being honest. But we both knew that we had to get this done because we want the Quonset hut built, and no one else is gonna build it for us, so you just gotta be tough and get through.
All right, so 2 people constructed a building. We're estimating 35 by 40 or greater, and it looks like it took them a number of days. So that just contributes to, what we tell customers of how the buildings can be constructed with minimal crew and be constructed fairly quickly. So just a true testament to that. Thanks for watching. I'd like to give a special thanks to Simple Living Alaska for sharing their video. Please subscribe to their YouTube page. We'll also be providing a link to their website below. Thank you for also supporting SteelMaster. Please subscribe to the videos, comment below, and visit our website at www.steelmasterusa.com.